Hi everybody. Sorry the new episode was late. It's a good one though. It's a long intro. It's like an hour before we actually get to talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it's a good conversation and I think it really brings it all together and transitions us well into the pod. But if you don't want to sit through that, I get it. Just skip to about an hour ahead and then we start talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is a really great episode. I love doing this show. I wish more of you guys would listen to it. Thank you for listening to it, the ones you do. If you have a friend who you think you would like it, tell them to go check it the fuck out. Because we got to get more people listening to this. It's crazy, guys. What the hell? I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming ourselves, but I don't want to do the hard work. You do it for me. Anyway, to get ahead on next week, we will be talking about Pulp Fiction. That is right. So today's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Next week will be Pulp Fiction. Enjoy the pod. I love you guys. Bye bye.
Dude. Hey, I'm Fisher with the 5 months Prime subscribe. What's up, brother? Thank you. Hey, wow, this is great. This is really special news. We've secured him for another appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, special guest Pat George.
Hey, I'm just doing the things that I do to my computer every single time I turn it on, even though I said it this way. What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
It does? Doesn't sound good?
No, it sounds real echoey.
Echoey.
Oh, it might not be. Is your microphone? Is it going through the? Do you have it set up to your microphone or?
Yeah, hold on. Let me double check. I have everything going through my earpiece right now.
No, I'm saying your input might be set to computer rather than microphone.
Right. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, because I said it. I said it every single fucking time. And it asked me every time, do you want to keep it this way? And I go, yes, please do. Please keep it that way. Because that way it'll be easy. And then this time I go, it says, who the fuck are you? Would you mind telling me who the fuck you are and what you're doing here? That's the link.
Anyway.
I hate everything in the world.
Everything's gonna be fine, buddy. You just have to stop expecting it to be good.
I'm late because I just found out my car might be a total loss.
Oh, I'm sorry. That sucks. You you're just getting cheeks clapped on your car, dude. You haven't had one good day with your car.
I feel justified in being a supervillain at this point. I think I don't know if this is just bad luck or if it's an origin story, and I don't know how to tell the difference. Like, do I need to start killing? Should I start killing?
Well, if you have those thoughts, save them for your journal and not a public broadcast.
Huh?
This is all parody. He's doing a character.
It was a question. It was not a statement. It's not a threat. I'm asking, should I?
But here's the thing about the question. I become accessory if you actually do go out and murder, and we don't clarify what this is.
But you're making it clear right now that no matter what my actions are, you don't condone them. Unless they are peaceful and or gay in nature.
If they are gay, I do condone them. If they are gay, my public statement is called it. But
at this point,
I just want to protect myself from the clear hate crime that's going to happen. I don't want to have any because it's like it hasn't happened yet. But like, what are the odds?
Is there a such thing as a blind rage crime? Is it gonna be? Because like honestly, I don't hate a particular anything. Right now I'm just so filled with rage.
That I
don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I think. I think it's in the ballpark of pleading insanity.
Yeah.
I forget the definition. Steph would probably be able to answer these questions. She's watched so much murder porn that she could be a low-level detective, so she probably knows the term. But it's there's something where it's like you saw red and fucking went full retard. I think it's like you still get in trouble, but
yeah,
they let you have like a fucking PS2 in prison or something.
But they're like, we get it. We've seen falling down. You sometimes you reach your limit, and then you just need to just make everyone pay. But I have no plans on doing that whatsoever, and I have no intentions in hurting anyone whatsoever. But oh boy, this is the closest I've ever felt to being able to.
So your car's totaled?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I guess it's gonna be So like
how hard did that lady hit you?
It's crazy, brother. It's not even necessarily the impact. Like it's the fact I think where she hit me because she fucked the suspension.
Oh, so and is it how old's your car that got hit?
It's a 2016.
Okay.
I mean, but it's also a Subaru. Like so, like I feel like Subaru is one of those ones where you're
they found out you're not a lesbian, so you got your car taken away.
Oh, I got it revoked.
Yeah, dude, you bought that car illegally.
I said it's my wife's car, though. I mean, they should know that she's a lesbian.
Oh, and you know what? They could have thought you were. They could have thought you were. You do have a higher voice. They could think you were on like a round of testosterone, like you're transitioning.
Yeah. Not essentially just basically being reverse allies.
Yeah, you're the dude in that new show Wayward. Did you watch that?
No.
Dude, it's so funny. It's like the main character's I don't even know what the words are for it anymore because you're watching it. You're like, okay, trans man, main character. And then Steph looked up the main character who actually wrote the show. And it's like, oh, but I actually identify as non-binary. And it's like, so wait, you're not a man, but you are a man, but you're not. And you're like, I can't follow these. But then the whole show, everyone's just like, dude, sir, whatever. And then in the middle, at the end of like episode 6, him and his wife, they get into some hanky panky, and then wife like throws him on the ground and just starts fingering his pussy from behind. And you're like, all right, man, you you know what? You asked a lot, and we said, yeah, dude, you're a guy, and like we went on, and then it's like, and then you're just gonna spit in our face and throw in a fingering from behind scene in the show. The show's great, but it just felt like, you know, like when someone's you know, you like buy someone's dinner and then they're just like, I don't know, they just keep asking for more. You know what I mean? It felt like you're like, you asked for one too many. There shouldn't have been a finger in from behind scene, but you're that type of woman is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think that's essentially the reason too. And when we took the car to the mechanic, he was letting us know that like he's like, oh yeah, we're like, so what's the like, you know, if this is totaled out, whatever. He's like, well, we don't want it to be. We want to make sure that like, because he's like, we don't get paid otherwise. And I was like, what does that mean? You don't get paid for like even like the inspection part of it, like the estimate. Like
they don't get paid for anything if it's totaled.
I think they're saying like we'll get like the flat price for estimating, but we would like to do the repairs because we will get paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like he's like, otherwise we're just kind of you're just keeping your car here and for us to look at it, tell it's not good, and then wait here before we can send it out to get crushed or something, you know.
Yeah,
but I really feel like I don't know what the I don't know what the actual amount is, but apparently it's more than it's worth. So hopefully we get.
Yeah, that happened to me a while ago when I had a fucking, I forget what type of car it was, but it was like my first it was my first car that didn't suck ass. Like my first car ever was a car my grandmother drove that was like ready to die. And then the next car I got was like one that my mom just drove to work, and she never worked more than like a mile away. So it was like a real nice car, but it was kind of older, and I hit a fucking deer, and they were like, it's not that it's not drivable. It's just not worth the money to fix this.
Yeah. And then you're like, well, as the person who owns it and needs it to run, I'd beg to differ, because you know what? I need a car that runs. So I think it is worth it. Can you just do it? I mean, it's not as bad as my experience with the warranty company by any means. Like Allstate is the insurance company that I've been working with mainly, and because that's the only one involved.
Well, what do you get? What do you get if they don't fix it?
That's what I'm saying is I don't like, as of right now, I think like they, you know, you have to get that special insurance. If you're financing a car, you have to get the insurance, the gap insurance, so that if something happens, they can pay off the rest of the loan. But I don't know if that's what it is, or if they'll give me the total price of the car. Yeah. And then I can pay the rest of the loan off and then maybe use the rest. Hopefully there's some left over for a down payment, because I ain't got down payment money. Well, I wasn't planning on not having a car.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it almost might be like
cool. We
financially for you, it might be worth it. It's like, gosh, just fix it. Cause like, you're not going to give me enough for a new car.
Right. You're not going to give me, well, even if I don't mind if it's like, if they can give me enough for a down payment, that would be nice. Like,
true. Cause like, if you can go in with a good down payment, then you can have like good monthly payments.
And our credit has been suffering in the past year or so just because of like being, everything being a bit tighter money wise and everything like that. So like our credit's not good. So it's not even like we can get a good loan or anything like that. So the insurance is really just ensured that the bank doesn't get fucked over and that I essentially just walk away kind of empty handed. Yeah. Like, I mean, but then at that point, I mean, I don't have a car. So why am I insuring anything? So why wouldn't I then I don't have car insurance at least.
Well, right? It comes down to like insurance now just feels like, hey, if you didn't have this, your whole family would be getting raped. But like because you got insurance, you're the only one getting raped.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is like I'm sitting here making phone calls, trying to get shit fixed and everything like that. And that fucking the dickhead that hit me that doesn't have insurance is like I like they drove away in their car. Like so like that's what I'm saying is like what I feel like I'm getting punished because I had insurance. And it's like,
well that's like the theme of modern society. They call it anarcho-tyranny, right? Where the people who just fuck off and don't follow the quote unquote rules, they just kind of like get to do whatever. But then it's like the people who actually are trying to follow the rules and be a productive member of society end up getting their fucking cheeks clapped. And that's right. And then it leads to everyone wants to reenact the movie Falling Down. And you're like, it just becomes this thing where you're like, I was joking about it. I've been reading this. So I got this book. It's called Aberration, the Heartland of the Real. It's about Timothy McVeigh. And there's like a big chunk of it talking about all of these different mass shooters and just people who, to put gently, have spazzed too hard in life.
Yeah.
And
real knuckleheads.
Dude, and I gotta be honest, the funniest part, it's like whenever you go over their grievances leading up to it, you're like, it's kind of like what happened with Ted Kaczynski. When everyone finally reads Ted Kaczynski's manifesto, you're like, I mean, dude was spitting.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you're like, you could be reading it silently and just judge by someone's face going like,
and you're like, I mean, maybe not set off 3 nail bombs, but everything else seems pretty cool. And I always want, but this is the point I'm trying to get to is like, I always wonder, I'm like, everyone tries to blame the video games or the violent TV or whatever. And I go, maybe some of it's just people snapping because real life is fucking insane.
And it's like, yeah, it's like
not to, and let me just cover myself legally. It's not to say what they did was good and excusable.
No, that's what I'm saying is like there is a point where like it's a level of gaslighting. Like there's a level of gaslighting with society 100%. Or life in general of this thing. Like and I feel it happens most with kids when people are like, oh my God, having kids is the best thing. But all parents do is bitch about their fucking kids. And it's like, and so like, I get it. I know it's the most rewarding thing and it's blah, blah, blah. And it's perspective, but it's also like, you have to understand it's perspective. It's subjective. Sometimes maybe your life needed that. And that was the best thing for you. Yeah. But that's also another thing of like, there is a line between a Luigi Mangione and like, everything's fine and everything's great. And like, I'm just going to believe every illusion because that's the thing is I'm not advocating violence or either, but like, but the more I'm dealing with the shit, the more I'm like, it's not justifying it in my brain, but it's explaining like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you get why people snap.
If you get 4 or 5, I mean, and this is the dangerous thing is the fact that I think I'm at like 3. Is like if you get like 4 or 5 of these things that happen to you in a row, yeah, like it's not a oh my God, what went wrong? It's look here. You can just watch the timeline and just go, yep, there. That's right there. Yeah, that makes sense because that was like 5 or 6 things that happened. If you lose a car, if you don't have a job, if you're bill collectors or whatever the fuck it is, it gets to a point where you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then everybody just goes, how could he do that? Like you can't do this. You can't act like that's the gaslighting part where you go like, you can't say, how could somebody do this? What would drive him to do? You absolutely know what did it. And it's almost happened to you. So like, shut the fuck up. There's been times where you're in traffic and you go to reach for the handle because you want to get out and you want to beat somebody's ass, but you don't. Or you even just picture it in your head. What would I do? Should I
Dude,
throw
bare minimum, we've had like a bad thing happen in real life.
Yeah,
and you've had that thought come over your head where you're like, if that guy exploded and died right now, I'd feel nothing.
It'd be the greatest thing I've ever witnessed in my life.
It would make everything better.
Right.
The kids conversation you brought up is a funny one to me too, because I do think some people have kids and something magical opens up and stuff like that. And it's like, but I also too, like, I don't know, man. I've done like, it's just that thing where it's people like, oh, kids just does something to you when you have kids. And I've been doing stand-up comedy for almost 15 years. And like, I gotta tell you, there's a lot of people that I see the results of the fact that having kids doesn't magically do something to you.
Right.
And I'm not even personally anti-kids. Me and Steph have talked about adopting and things like that. Like we might do that later and stuff like that. We're not but like I'm also a fan of evidence, and I just go, there's no evidence that it just across the board.
Right, because it's not a fact. It's like saying like, oh my God, snowboarding is just my best release. I just have the most peaceful time snowboarding. If either one of you of us tried snowboarding, we would be fat failures. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be.
I already got through that as a kid. I tried snowboarding twice and was like, this hurts my ankles.
Right. Like sometimes it just hurts your ankles. Sometimes it's not the answer. Sometimes it's just a pain in the ass. And like, and now I think the craziest thing with the kids being the best example of this is the fact that that's not buying a house. That's not buying a car. That's creating existence. You're creating a human life.
Yeah.
Like just going like, this will turn things around. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then they get to this point where they're like, boy, oh boy, it's really hard to function.
You think that actually exists?
What?
Do you think that actually exists? Like not obviously it happens, but is it like the whole, if we have a kid, this will fix everything? Does that happen at a rate that's like?
That's why we have so much problems in the world. Is there's so many unwanted people. Like that's what it's people that either
say no. What I'm saying is like, are there actually people that look at each other and go, let's have a kid, this will fix things?
I think they think it'll turn it around. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's the thing, is because it's been touted as this thing of like, oh my God, once I had a kid, everything opened up. I saw everything, and I know this and I know that now, and blah blah blah. So like when you get pregnant, and I think that's just a scam to keep the fucking kid. Then you keep the kid, and then you go like, well, yeah, I get a little extra tax money every year, but otherwise it's just as hard. And now I have a responsibility that I cannot neglect. So it's a thing where you're like,
that's not true.
Well,
you can neglect the shit out of your kid.
I should not neglect. You're right. Legally, I'm not supposed to do it, but don't worry.
You do comedy with me. You can neglect the kid. What are you talking about? I don't know. I think more of the problems are economic. Just everyone's fucking poor and scared all the time.
It's I think the main issue just basically is like the fact that like there is a clear it's the same thing I told you about. I've talked about this many times. We've been in we're in week 2 or 3 of a shutdown of the government.
Yeah.
And
everything's fine.
And every single one of our today. Yes, we don't work for the government. We haven't had to request anything from the government at this point. But the thing that's happened in the meantime, because they said we're not going to have food stamps for Thanksgiving. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. And it's like all these other things. And people are standing up. And this is my point, is every single time one of the politicians that are meant to fucking help us or take care or hold accountable the scam companies that take, like, because we need insurance legally in this country. We're supposed to have insurance when we drive. And there's supposed to be people that are holding these people accountable, but they're in their fucking pocket. So then when they don't work for the human people band together and we help each other. And that's all we've ever needed. So we don't need politicians. We don't need government, and we don't need insurance. We don't need warranties. We don't need any of this shit. All we need is each other, because we're all humans and we all know that we go through this shit. And once you add forced help for people, or you're taking people's money to help other people, that's when people start getting pissy. It's people want the option to help the people they want to help, but they will help people. We don't need services to muck shit up, to hold people back. Everybody's been enjoying their life since the government's been shut down, except for the people that aren't getting paid. And that's what I'm saying is like,
well, I appreciate the fact that you're becoming so radically anti-government. I've never been prouder of you.
I've always been anti. Fuck the government. I'm now more vocal. Fuck you guys.
But here's the thing about insurance. It's like it would work fine. Now, I'm no fucking expert on the matter, but like all these things that fucking suck ass, they suck ass because there's like a huge government intervention in it and it's the MO that the government does all the time where they're just like, dude, we got this. Don't worry. Yeah. You don't got to worry about nothing. We got this. And then when it's time for them to do their job, they don't got this. You know, right. Like when it's time to keep when it's time to regulate the banks and make sure they don't fuck people over. They're like, don't worry. We hit this bank that has trillions of dollars with $100,000 fine. They'll really get their shit together. Like, you know what I mean? They do like fake shit.
And you go, who's getting the fines? And they're like, oh, they're paying us. And it's
because inherently, well, no, it's like inherently a lot of these things that people hate, like insurance or like credit scores or whatever, they're actually like, if it was in a much freer market, it would actually be a good thing that would work because like something like a credit score is just a vague number that shows if you're like, if like the people lending you money can trust to lend you money. You know what I mean?
You can't.
And then, yeah, that's why yours is low. But even with the thing with insurance is like, it should be a thing that if you just in case, you know what I mean? That's why you don't get your fucking money back. But the problem is it's like, they have all now. I don't know. I'm probably dipping into waters that I'm underqualified to talk about, but yeah, it is this thing. Well, it's like the reason I was just listening to this thing with like the thing with health insurance where this dude was talking about, it's like apparently fucking like you just walk in the door, have a baby. It's like $30,000 or something like that.
Nuts. It's crazy.
And it's just because it's like the most over-regulated fucking thing, and everyone's just making up prices. The thing that let me pivot to something I actually know and have strong feelings about. Well, I have strong feelings about a lot of things. What am I saying? No, the other thing I was going to say is the one thing that's been, it's like one thing where it's one thing to be like, okay, we're going to raise prices a little bit just because we have the protection of the government. It's another thing to just be like, oh, if you're going to have a kid, it's going to cost $30,000 to throw it up to prices like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the part. It's like when you go to a concert and you're like, oh, give me the 24-ounce Coors Light. That is $2 at the gas station. And if I got that at a concert, if they charged me $5 or $6, that would be reasonable because I know for a fact they're getting those in huge cases off of big ass trucks,
right?
And it's costing you probably less than it costs at the gas station. But if I'm there at the concert and you're charging me $5, $6, $7 for that tall boy, I would completely understand it. It's when they throw it up to like $15, I go, now you're just evil.
That's what I'm saying. Is it gets to, but that's my whole talk about like what I was saying about what I've said about tolls, taxes, regulations, anything. They don't restrict them. They don't ever pull them back. They only add to them. So like, so the things that like, even the thing of like, you're supposed to be looking out for the people. You're not looking out for the people. You're just, it's the little Band-Aid fix for everything that because you don't generally care. You come and you take, like, even at this point, like I'm so jaded at this point. I don't fucking care how convincing you are of a politician. I don't fucking care. I don't believe you. I don't believe you because I feel like it's the same thing as like stock traders. Stock trader, you're just legal criminals. Like you're just people that are gambling. You're gambling the whole fucking time. And you really know that system. That doesn't make you better or smarter. That just makes you a fucking nerd for that fucking system. And you come in and you try your best to to game the system so you get the most return on your money.
Have you ever looked into like day trading? Every time I try to look into it, I'm like, this just seems like sports betting. Every single time, it just seems like sports betting.
And that's what I'm saying is like, interest is basically all interest is literally them using your money and giving you a vig. Is basically saying like, here's a little bit of, here's your cut. You let us use that. Here's a little bit. But like, if they use it and then they don't have it anymore.
Wait, say that again.
Interest is basically them just using your money to bet, and then you get a little cut of the vig. That's all it is. That's all interest is because you keep your money in the bank so that they can use it, so that they can make more money off your thing, and then you get a little bit of more money. You get your little taste. But if they lose that money, then
can I say this real quick? Sorry to cut you off. It's just all of that stuff is not. It's not that big of a deal. Like. If you put your money in the bank and they give you interest on it because they're like, if you leave it here for a couple months or whatever, we're going to do some shit with it and we'll give you some more money because you let us use it for that. On its face, that's not a bad thing. The problem is when the bank fucks around and they go, oh yeah, we have the money, but actually it's just a fucking Ponzi scheme the whole fucking time where they don't actually have the money. And then you're like, okay, well, I want my fucking money and I want to leave this fucking bank, or the bank that's fucking around that should fail. Rather than letting it fail, the government comes in and goes, don't worry, we'll keep this bank. So it's like, no.
But that's not for you. You don't get that money. They give the money to the bank to stay open, and you don't get your money that they lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is like but no, like just this the whole fact of like, oh, there's interest on this. In a fair system, interest isn't a big deal. It's like, if someone's lending you money, it's the cost of borrowing that money. That's what interest is.
Right.
The problem is the government gives these banks and big businesses like this an unfair advantage. That's the real problem, is the unfair advantage that these organizations get. And it's like kind of what you were just saying, where, it's like I always joke when people talk about like tax breaks for the rich, and then everyone's like, well, you need to. They basically go, you need to fuck over the rich the same way you fuck us over. And I go, no, flip it.
Yeah.
Can we get the breaks that they get? It's like everyone's been fucking conditioned into be like, everyone needs to have their cheeks clapped the exact same way.
Yeah, I'm not talking about abolishing taxes. I'm talking about tax the fuck out of the rich. Like, that's what I'm saying.
No. That's the exact opposite of what I just said, by the way. That's the exact opposite of literally what I just said.
What you say, give the tax rich, instead of giving tax breaks to the rich, give them to you?
Yeah, I want to have the advantages they have of not having to fucking get all my money taken away.
Right. And then what I was just saying is that we should be, so you're saying also don't take their money, but also don't take our money?
Yeah, don't take any of our money.
I mean, but then you're like, but then the things like, that's where the part comes into where like, you shouldn't be justified in just taking our money. If there are transactional things, like you said, with interest, where it's understood that if I keep my money here, I get more money. It's the same thing where like, if I do this, I understand that there's this much taxes, not just here's your taxes for the year. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that same thing of like, well, you worked and you earned money. Well, obviously you owe us money. Why? Well, because you're paying into Social Security. Am I getting Social Security? No. Well, will I ever get Social Security? Probably not.
That all goes back to the accountability thing I was saying before, where it's like, it doesn't matter if the banks are doing risky things with your money. There's no accountability for that. And it's the same thing with like I'll say this, like taxes on his face, like if paying your taxes was akin to like paying for a service, the same way that I have to pay the city to come pick up my trash, if it was like a same thing, like, or I pay for Netflix every month, like if it was akin to paying for a service, like there's a level of accountability where it's like, oh, if this service is bad, I can stop paying for it. The thing about like the way we do taxes now is it's like, oh, you have to pay for your taxes, and you're just gonna get whatever we're gonna fucking get, and it doesn't matter how you feel about it.
And that's what my whole thing was when I was working at the medical supply company in Florida, and I remember my buddy who was black. had a ton of kids with a ton of different ladies, and he was talking about how awesome tax time was because he gets like $10,000, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, I take it to my buddy, and he does he makes it so I get a $10,000." And I was like, "Aren't you worried about that?" Like I said, I was like, "I understand what you're saying," but he's like, "Oh yeah, I claim this, I claim this, I claim this, I claim this," and I was like. And that's what it comes out to be is like you think that you're a successful person because you figured out how to not pay your taxes and not do that. And it's like, I guess you're right, but it's not necessarily.
I'm sorry. Can I ask, was anything he was doing actually illegal though? Or was he just taking it?
Well, there's like things like where like if you're claiming shoes for work, you can only wear them at work.
Yeah,
you're only supposed to wear them at work. He was just claiming all of his clothes, you know.
Oh, okay.
If he's doing another thing, like certain shit like that, where you're like,
so it was like it wasn't flat out lying, but it was intense fudging.
It was and like enough fudging to where like you're gonna be like, wow, so you somehow made it to where you're not gonna have to pay anything this year. Like I think it's very simple. Whatever government services you utilize in the year, at the end of the year, you can figure out what you owe in taxes because of what government services you utilized and what you need to pay. I think that's pretty fair to say like, well, I did this, I did this, I did this.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, usually in that case, a lot of times the rich people don't necessarily need that many government services, but they'll still do special things, keep their money in this place to not have to pay taxes, do their business here, have their LLC here. And it's just ways to figure out not to pay. But we don't get that luxury. So like, that's the thing where I'm like, I understand what you're saying, but it's also like one of those things of like flat tax or no tax. That's my thing. Flat tax.
I would prefer a flat tax to what we have now
because that's the only fair thing. Flat tax or no tax for everybody. And
but once it's that you said it right there. That's the fair thing. And it's like, once you start looking at the government of just like, because a lot of people, I think I've said this a bunch of times before, but I'll say it again. It's like a lot of people say like the government's the referee in the game. And it's like, yeah, it's the referee in those fucking NBA documentaries where he's fixing the score. That's it's like people need to, I don't know, man. Speaking about like psychological breaks, I swear to God, like, cause I'm not, what's that word? I don't think I'm a particularly, I'm not smarter than the average bear or nothing like that.
Yeah.
So, and like some of this stuff though, it feels like, I don't know, feels easy for me to kind of get when it comes to these things. Like the government's the mob, like they're not the actual. And then you hear people talk, and it goes back to that psychological thing. And I think it's like, I always wonder, I'm like, man, is it really just that hard for people to let go of that worldview they were given when they were a kid? Because honestly, the way the world, what you're given as a kid of how the world is supposed to be, quote unquote, supposed to be, I almost sympathize with it because it was hard for me to break away from that because the other one's like kind of a bummer. It's the same thing. I was actually thinking about this because I felt like I went a little bit hard on the Acacia Strain because I'm a big fan of that new album and I like the band a lot. And I felt like what I said on Drag the Lake, I was a little bit hard on them. And I was thinking about it more and I fine-tuned my opinion on like the anti-God stuff. And I go, it's not even that I necessarily believe in God. Do I believe in some bigger entity that's, more powerful than us? Probably. Is it aliens, interdimensional beings? Is it God? I don't fucking know. But I was thinking about it from like a religious standpoint. And I was almost like, man, just, don't take that away. Like the people who have that, I almost want to be like, don't take it away from them. Cause it's like, I got it taken away. And I go, it's not more fun on the other side.
No, it's one of those things where like, they're not necessarily.
It's the same thing when you realize like the world, how the world should be isn't a thing and it won't happen. You're like, it's not more fun. Like when you take the red pill, you're on the Nebuchadnezzar eating slop. And I used to be like, no, that's how it should be. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe you want to just let people at the fancy restaurant eat steak. It's like, it's not more fun on the other side.
Yeah. I kind of just, it's not just a normal a normal like jadedness or like fucking government blah blah blah. It's like literally it's just one of those things of like we all know like I kind of equate it to like if you're usually like if you're asking questions, like if you're going to your friends going like, should I break up with this girl, blah blah blah, like usually, and from my experience, for the most part, if you're asking, like you can kind of find the answer to your own question within the first sentence or two of the question. Like
asking it is kind of part of the answer.
You kind of admitting that it needs to happen, but you just need justification one way or another.
It's so it's like similar whenever people go like, how do I get into stand-up comedy? Stand-up comedy, you almost want to be like, asking that question means you're probably not going to be into it hardcore.
And the fact that you're also, you preface it usually by saying, I'm such a huge stand-up comedy fan. I love stand-up comedy. I listen to fucking all the stuff. And you're like, then you've heard this question before. And you definitely, and you've heard the answer before from
you'd be doing it every question. Too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Like, and that's okay. I love painting. For the longest time, I really thought I wanted to learn how to paint. I really wanted that. I just admire painters. I don't have the drive to do it. I really want to do it.
Honestly, and it's funny we're talking about this works for talking about No More Heroes today, which I still want to talk about this. I'm not trying to segue into the pod yet, but that's how I felt about film and stuff like that. I have like an idea or two for movies, and I'd love to write that and have someone more talented than me make it. But yeah, movies are a type of art where I go, I fucking love this. I do not have the itch to make a movie though.
I envy it. Yeah, well, I do. Yeah. But
I envy that type of like hard work and focus.
I think about that with just regular productions, like live shows I put on or something like that. I put a lot. I plan. I do the things that I wish other people would do at shows a lot of times.
You really do, Pat. I mean, if I can give you some props and constantly interrupt you, I'm sorry.
That's all right, brother.
But no, for real though, Pat. The deucing is real. Pat goes hardcore on the deucing.
That's something I am passionate about. That's the thing. Like, so like I appreciate the live performance. I appreciate the production and everything like that. But it's like sometimes there's things that are a lot of times there's things that are out of your control, like equipment, things, post, pre, whatever, like people showing up on time. There's a lot of things, but there's so much shit that it's like, you can just sometimes admit, like, I admire painters. I wish I had the ability and or drive to get that good at that thing, but I'm just not at that point. Maybe not yet. Maybe at one point it'll be a thing that one day I'll do it. But like to say like I'm interested in it or to buy any of those things is fine. But it's also like you got to just stick to your strong points. You know what I mean? Like what are you really passionate about? What are the things that you love?
Painting too is one of those that like until you see that painting that does something to you, you're not going to give a shit about painting.
Right.
Because that happened. I did not care about painting and art like that. And then I remember, I think Steph took me to a museum or something, and I just saw a painting, and I had one of those moments where you're like, oh, I've been staring at this for 5 minutes. Yeah. And it's just like, you just see something of pure beauty, and you're like, oh, I get why people do this.
But that's also why I love painting. I mean, I know that we're in visual and or audio mediums mostly, but like
I'm in audio extra large is
but like any of those things I'm in video XXX, but there's
extra large was being nice.
But there's still a level of like that. The reason I am so humbled and I'm so impressed by paintings is because they're able to do with no words what we're supposed to be doing, whether it makes somebody happy, sad, laugh, cry, whatever. Like, and when, like you said, when you experience that, you're like, oh shit. So like they're doing the same thing, but through that medium where there's like no explanation, it's just feeling. So like, that's why I also love art, because like it's oftentimes subjective, but it's also like one of those things of like, I don't know, you can't fake it. You can't fake the art part of it. You can fake a picture, you can draw a picture, you can copy somebody, but like, but you can't fake the reaction, the feeling that people get. So like,
well, I think AI is the most, the existence of AI right now is the biggest thing that proves your point right there. You can you can use AI. Like I saw this tweet that was going viral where, God, it's the AI shit makes me believe in lizard people more, because I go, you're not like, I'm not trying to be like salacious or funny or whatever, but like when you see these people online talking about the AI, or like the AI tech guys talking about it in interviews and stuff, I go, you don't feel like a human like us. And I'm not trying to use language to make them, the things racists do so you can justify,
calling them clankers and stuff,
turning people into glass, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to do that type of, but I'm just like, it doesn't seem like you appreciate human life the way a lot of us do. Because like I saw this tweet going viral where this guy was like, AI video games are the way of the future, and he just posts this video of a video game, and I go, this looks like shit. This looks stupid. This looks like shit. And then on top of that, you were saying, where it's like, if you know that there wasn't any real artistry behind it, you're like, it just doesn't have the same.
You don't even have to know. You don't even have to know. Like, that's the thing. You can look at a beautiful AI picture and be like, oh, that's a beautiful picture. But like, it's a picture. It's not like it's not a thing. It's not a place. It's not real. But like, if you saw a painting of that same place, you'd be like, oh, wow. Like, it's undeniable. That's what I'm saying, is like, there's so much, there's so much that's brought into it. And there's so much humanity that's in it that, like, I feel like if going back to the any of the insurance or any of that other stuff, it's undeniable. Like, there's the human element is undeniably needed in every
I thought you were talking about insurance. It's your situation really comes off like a lot of it's deniable. Yeah, man, dude, it's kind of funny. It's like, my whole life, technology has been like, yes, that was a step forward. That was a step forward. Mm-hmm. In the past, like, I want to say like 3 to 4 years, it's really been hitting me where I go, I don't know if we're taking as many steps forwards as we were. I don't know if a lot of these are step forwards. Even like, even some of the stuff in the past, like, I was thinking about it in the context of these movies, like some of these movies, it's actually been making me want to get the physical version of it and shit like that. Just cause I'm like, I'm going to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood multiple times.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck is buying it on Amazon Prime mean? I go, let me get the fucking Blu-ray, dude.
Yeah. But see, that was the thing. It's like, for the longest time, I was doing that too, where I'd be like, I know that I see the value in like streaming and having it on your computer and shit like that, but also like, I need a physical copy. Yeah. Because like, if I'm buying stuff, for the most part, there's a couple since then that I've bought, but you said the same thing. You kind of made fun of me of buying an album on iTunes or something like that, because that's the same reason. Where like, you're like, I don't own it. It's not mine. It's just, I just have the rights to listen to it on this platform. And it's one of those, it gets so splintered to where it's like, it's indistinguishable from any other way we would consume art.
Well, you know what I think it is? I think the problem with with how tech works is whenever they bring out new tech, they'll be like, this is going to replace the old stuff. And there's never a mindset of like, well, these can actually coexist. Because I think like we're realizing that with streaming, we're like, streaming's cool. Because I'm not trying to like purchase every fucking TV show and movie I watch, and I'm not trying to purchase every fucking album I want to listen to. But like, you have those moments where, just out of nowhere, you're just like, hey, why can't I find this movie anywhere? We went through it with Let's Go to Prison. That was the name of the movie, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, this just doesn't exist anywhere. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, you find out they like they can alter things, or if there's a current, like they were doing it a while ago when everything was more the social justice stuff, and you find out that they were framing it as blackface, but then you go watch the old episode of Scrubs that they're talking about, and you're like, no. They used a tone so he was the same skin tone as Turk, and then in the context of the joke, it was a funny joke. It's not like he was wearing black and fucking red lips and was like, "Meme," like he wasn't doing that. And then, but then because people are just real gay that week, now you can't watch that episode of Scrubs on streaming anymore. And so I think the big thing is like with this technology is like we got to stop looking at it like it's replacing anything, because it shouldn't.
Well,
shouldn't just top to bottom replace shit.
The thing, and we can get into the movie and stuff, because
let's we're kind of talking about it. Let's segue into No More Heroes. Talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Well, I think the last point I was going to make was just the fact that like there was like the things technology wise that is invented, or things that are made in the way, or I guess let's say in the theme of making your life easier or better or something like that, is like, which is what streaming is like, and it speaks to your point of like, these are the things that are come up in the past couple of years that are like, well, this doesn't do anything to make our life better. This doesn't actually do anything. It's the same thing with all the safety systems in the cars nowadays, like, are insane, because there's absolutely nothing that would have in that safety system that would have stopped that accident that happened to me from happening. Brother, there's nothing that would happen.
Can I tell you? I told you I started doing that valet job. So I've been driving very expensive cars for the past month.
Yeah.
And it's very cool. Even also, it's been changing my opinion on electric vehicles. The non-Teslas are very cool. But no, a lot of these safety features are fucking stupid. Like, they have this new thing where it's like a 360 camera. So like, they have cameras on top of the car that you can actually, it looks like you're getting a bird's eye view of your car. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And you look and you go, this doesn't help.
It doesn't do anything. It's just another screen to distract you. And that's the thing, is like, you'll be driving and it'll go beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? What?
Oh, dude, the seat will start shaking on some of these cars. It's like, that's what I'm realizing is like, there's a lot of technology that they implement just cause.
Yeah. And I think what Cellrat's saying is exactly the kind of the point that I'm making, is like the safety systems, they're making people worse drivers, essentially.
Yeah, dude. I figured it. I realized I was doing it because my car has if you start drifting into the other lane, it gives you a quick little beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
And I noticed that happens constantly because I'm not and it's like and I do it with backing up. I noticed I would like start backing up without actually looking, and it's like a lot of these things you don't realize it's doing it to you, but it's making you a less safe driver.
And that's what I mean. Is like that's the issue of like, it's not helping anything, but it's also the same thing with the way we take in movies and stuff. Is like, hey, it's just right on your TV. But if we decide to get rid of it, you have no choice. Like, it'll just be gone one day, and then you'll go to look for it, and you go, I swear to God, I bought it. And you go, oh, and then you'll have to. But they're just counting on you having to buy it again, or have to buy the rights again. It says specifically when you buy something online or whatever, is that there's something in the fine print that says if the licensing changes or anything like that, they won't be held at fault. You won't have the fucking media anymore, and you'll have to either repurchase it somewhere else or just deal without.
Wasn't that thing if you like downloaded it?
Yeah.
But it wasn't you're like, how do I not have it? I downloaded it.
Yeah, it's mine. And it's like, well, now, but it's not on here anymore. And it's like, okay.
You didn't give me the file? I didn't buy the file?
Brother, it's the same little setting that I found out about DaVinci or whatever. If you're using a file and that's named, let's say it's named Drag the Lake, episode 1. And then you bring it into DaVinci, you use the thing, and then you want to then place the file back out onto the desktop where you've loaded it into the editing software already. And you go like, well, I'm going to put it out there because it's Drag the Lake episode 1. So that's the name of it. So I put Drag the Lake episode 1, and it goes to start the project, but it replaces that original file with the new file that's absolutely empty. And then they can't complete the file. It can't complete the job because the original media doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And I go, why is that a feature?
It's crazy.
You know that nobody in the entire world, all over the whole entire planet that's ever edited video ever would want that feature. Nobody would ever want that feature.
No, it's like I I've only been this age one time, so I don't know what going through technology as an adult was like previous decades.
Mm-hmm.
But like this feels like the first time on the whole, like all tech seems to have gotten worse.
And it's like working against us, not with us. You know what I mean? Like it's a thing where it's like
Cell Rep brought it up.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Cell Rep brought it up too. It's like everything's a subscription now, and everything's like, dude, it used to be a thing where these big ass programs, it's like they're figuring out ways to squeeze more money out of us without even making it better. Where it's like you used to be able to just buy Photoshop for like $500, $800. Now it's a $20 subscription every month till you die.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like it's this thing where like you get the subscription or whatever, and it's meant to be easier for you or something like that. But really, all it is just restricting you more. It's almost like a thing where instead of the issue I think that you're talking about is exactly this. I think what used to happen was when they were making advancements in technology or things, they were trying to make things cooler or better, or make cooler or better things. And that's their motivation to make more money. We're going to make the cooler thing than they have so that they will want to buy our thing instead of their thing. Yeah. But now they've just learned through subscription methods, through other things like that, where they're like in-game purchases is another thing where they're like all these other things where they're just like, oh, no. We can just wring them out for every cent of money before we even have to invent a new thing. Look at iPhones. In the past couple of years, they're like the brand new iPhone's out and there's 4 new things maybe. And you're like, well, what is it? The camera's slightly better.
Oh, and all of it
rings a little bit louder now. You're like, what?
And none of it will be that noticeable to you.
Right. And we're going to charge more, but also we'll work. And it's like one of those things of like, you're not offering anything new that you are justifying these up prices or anything like that. So and the subscription thing was great before they started turning it into cable. Now it's just cable. And now it's like, and now you have 1,400 different cables and none of them are everything at all. So now they're even like, okay, this is another way. Well, if you want to watch that show, you're going to have to get Paramount Plus. If you want that one, you're going to need Peacock. And then if you want that one, you're going to need Netflix. Oh, you know, like Netflix, don't you? And it's just like that thing where you're like, they're not making things better. They're just making things more difficult. And that's why nothing is better because everything's just more difficult.
That's a great way to put it. They're making everything more difficult because even with, and I don't want this to come off like I'm defending these streaming platforms, but like if you factor in cable and paying for HBO and Showtime and stuff back in the day, and how often you'd go to Blockbuster or you'd pay to like buy like full seasons of TV shows and all that shit, I do wonder if it is actually like, because everyone's saying like it's more expensive now, and I go, I wonder if you kind of look at that broad thing. The thing that I do know for a fact is what you just fucking said. It's not simpler. Like like, dude, I've just, since the Eagles have been the shit, I've been more invested in football, and just like now football's just in my algorithms way more. And then when you see those like when you see those infographics of like, this is how you can watch football this week.
Yeah.
You're like, this is crazy.
Yeah. They're like, you're like, where's the Thursday game? No, that's not there. It's like, okay, CBS or Fox? No, not there. No, NBC. No, NBC is a Sunday night game. Well, where's Monday night? ESPN. ESPN Plus? No, ESPN. Cable. Yeah. You can't watch it on Plus. Okay, so
dude, that's why
fuck you guys. Dude, I don't want to watch it.
That's why I'm getting propagandized by China, and it's fucking working, dude, because it's like, dude, no, every time I see China, it's just big boy. Like they've normalized the fact that if it's hot out in China, the big boys can just walk around with their belly out and it's socially acceptable. And It's just, and they got better cigarettes and stuff. And it's just like China does totalitarianism better than our fucking country. They keep it classy.
Yeah, if we're gonna be a dictatorship, like, can we just skip to the good part?
Can you guys just have a little more, like, if you're gonna be a totalitarian dictatorship, can you have a little bit more organization with it?
By the way, we are, and that's the thing is the reason it's so frustrating is because they're not just admitting that that's what it is. If we just admit that, it's a state run, you gotta do everything the state says, and otherwise,
you're like, can it suck a little less?
You're like, yeah, but can you just stop telling me how free I am? Because it's Like that's what I'm saying. Is like
you stop saying we have to preserve democracy. It's like it's not real, dude.
We haven't had that in fucking forever since you started putting people in jail for not paying taxes. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like, and that's the thing of like, it's not a free country.
That's why we haven't had a new Blade.
We have to pay for it. We have to pay for the country, you idiot.
Well, to be fair,
every year it's not free.
To be fair, freedom ain't free, but no. That's why we're having a new Blade movie. Taxes.
Yeah. Hey guys, and then like even the shit that we love, like football, sports, movies, anything. They're just like, they just go like, well, let's just make them worse. And you're like, well, that's not better.
They're going to be easier to make, so the people making them are going to try less hard.
Thank you, Carmela.
Yeah, this actually, I'm going to leave a lot of this in because this does correlate a lot. I swear to God, dude, a lot of these thoughts came up purely on the fact that I was like, I think I'm going to get the Blu-ray to this movie because it's because that's the funny thing. Like whenever we do these episodes, I always have to like Google like where's it streaming, and then I'm like, if I have to actually purchase it, I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to purchase it rather than, I don't know. I'm like, there's something annoying at this point of like renting it on YouTube for $5. I'm like, I might as well just buy these now. Oh man. But that's when you just grab Carmela and
give her some snugs. Thanks, baby girl. You make me feel all better. You're so smelly.
Good thing.
But luckily, I've owned the past couple movies we've watched. So,
do you own this one?
Yeah, Django, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. What was the other one?
Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, I own all those. So, it was like it was already one of those ones. And actually, I have it on Blu-ray. I could have just lent it to you.
Oh, really? Well, it was on YouTube TV.
It's a wait, which one? Once Upon a Time?
Yeah.
Was it censored?
No, I got the whole thing.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was get the fuck out of here. This is what I was, I guess this is maybe the way I was talking about the movie Babylon when we were talking about it was more of what I was kind of thinking this was. But I feel like I still get the same sense of like it's chaotic, it's crazy, it's cringy, but like we love this world. Like I would, you know what I mean? Like at the end of Babylon, I think it was like one of those things of like, wouldn't have changed a thing. You know what I mean? Like, boy, oh boy, was it crazy, but boy, oh boy, was I alive. You know what I mean? Like, even though it was crazy, chaotic, terrible, you know, deaths, all this other shit, this is the same thing. But the main thought I had, and I'm interested to find out how that all correlates with your thoughts with the movie, but oh no, you were saying that with the Blu-ray is essentially
no, I was saying just contemplating buying a physical version of because no, it's like we've been doing like movies for a little bit now, and it's getting to a point where I've been contemplating like, why don't I just physically buy these fucking movies? It feels because like some of them I want to rewatch them again, and it's like it feels crazy to just like this it's like this art that I can't hold in my hand, even though it's like I'm throwing it into a machine to watch it on a screen, just to like have this art that means so much to me. Because it's like I've been telling you, dude, Taron Tober's been one of the greatest months of the year. Yeah. And dude, like Inglourious Basterds fucking rips. Django rips. This movie absolutely rips, in my opinion. And it's like, then to just be like, okay, it's done. Bye-bye into the ether. You're like, what is this, man? Because it's like, that's a big, you know, it kind of like stems back. It's kind of ironic because when I first started comedy, I started comedy because I was like a big podcast fan and just a big stand-up comedian fan in general. And I remember Lemaire and Nate would make jokes. They'd call me Fandy.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember them making fun of you for being a fan of things, and it's like,
yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, because it's gay. It's gay as fuck to like stuff. But anyway, but no, at the time, because I thought that would make me not seem like a legitimate comic, I got incredibly it like bugged me. And I'm not like shitting on them or anything. It's more of like my personal, like, I need to have more self-esteem to just be like, I like things and that's okay. But I remember it bugged me just to be like, because that is a thing too with certain groups where it's like coming off too much like a fan, which in actuality, it's not coming off like a fan. It's just coming off like a jerk off.
You're appreciating. No, but I always think of it as like you're appreciating another artist's thing. Cause like, that's a thing of like, that's how I've always taken it.
Well, no, when shit, like when you don't want to be a quote unquote fan is when you do that, like, oh my God, you're so amazing and everything you do is great. Like, that's just being a fucking dork. That's really what it is. Cause it's like, we're all fans at the end of the day. But no, it's like, I remember I was so self-conscious of that back in the day. And then the older I get and the more mature I get, I go, no, dude, that's me, man. I'm a dude, like, I like to do this shit, but at the end of the day, I'm a dude who likes to like shit. And this shit always means so much to me. And so then to when you're done consuming it and you're just like, well, where is it? You're like, oh, it's in the Wi-Fi. I don't know. It's in the 5G.
How
and you're like,
just watch this.
Yeah, dude. So like, just the fact that I've been having such a great Tarantober, it's been making me realize like art's more than just consuming it. It's like having being able to hold it in your hand and shit like that. And it's just been making me more like, because for a while I was of the mindset of like I've over enunciate set. I was of the mindset of like, I'm gonna eventually do physical media shit just cause, but now I'm like, no, I just want to do that. That is what I want to do. But yeah, that was like my big oh shit moment. And it really just stemmed from the fact that I love this movie so much. I love the way Tarantino makes fucking movies.
Yeah. Well, I think
so good.
I think it's really speaks to like how incredible he is at filmmaking, considering how good he was from the start. Because that's the other thing, is I feel like when we started Tarantober, we didn't start Tarantober. That's every month. That's every year. But when we
started acknowledging Tarantober as a podcast.
But when we started actually like our personal Tarantober, I was thinking like, oh man, are we going to end up doing like his whole retcon era essentially? And I was like, it's kind of what we did.
What does that mean?
Where he basically goes back and changes history. He like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like he goes, so like, but I'm also like, that's just another thing. It's not like this is what he changed into. It's just like he's always made movies in the real world, but like in a cartoon way, where like this is my take on California in Pulp Fiction or whatever. Like, here's California and here's some stories to be told in California. And as opposed to having like main characters, there wasn't ever really a main character in a lot of these movies. Kind of Reservoir Dogs, but like for the most part, they've all been super ensemble cast. He kept the ensemble cast, but then focused on main characters. And I think that's really when like I really he's starting to tell a person's story. Django, blah, blah, blah. But with his prior abilities and his prior like experience, he's able to build these worlds and still tell these super elaborate stories with somebody like Brad Pitt's character, where you're like, that you could have done the movie about him. He's a fucking crazy, weird.
You want to hear something? You want to hear something funny? They're working on a movie about Brad Pitt's character. It's Tarantino's not directing it, but he's writing it.
And that's what I'm saying is like his mantra, his character, he is like a real, and that's I'm assuming that's what it's going to be. He's like a real life superhero. He's a stuntman, which is awesome, but he's also this guy who has this like
killed his wife.
I ain't ever gonna go to jail for pussy. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I'm happy to give you a ride, hippie girl, but why don't you show me some fucking ID? And she's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, what are you talking about? Like his casual way to keep from having sex with an underage girl is just like, he made it so cool.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, that scene was so that scene was so funny too, because you could tell he was like, I would love to fuck your underage pussy, but because of the restraints of the modern world and their misunderstanding of how good underage pussy is, and that's like, I have to do this. I'm sorry.
And his whole like the character again. He's this interesting, like he has some of the funniest lines too. I wish I would have written them down. But he has like most of the times where he's like reacting or talking to people. I love the scene with Bruce Lee also, because that's been something that I've been thinking about for a long time, of like, yeah, you never really fought You did not fight. You practiced karate. You taught karate, but for the most part, you were fighting with a fucking wooden dummy. Yeah. So it's like one of those things of like
the Adventures of Cliff Booth. By the way,
that's awesome.
And he's I don't know if it's done or not, but he's writing it. Nice. But dude, you know what's funny about the Bruce Lee shit? If you guys want a good laugh, listen to the last. I think it was in 2021. Because Tarantino did a novelization of the movie, or I don't know if it's a novelization, but he just it's funny. I bought it and I made sure I got the audiobook and I made sure to listen to it before this episode. And if you liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but you thought, hey man, that really could have been, like 15 hours long. That's all the book is. It's so funny. It's just the movie, but like deeper and more explained. So you find out like the dog that Cliff has, he actually got that through dog fighting and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then they basically give you a much more detailed backstory on all the characters. So the book, it was funny because when I first got the book, I was listening to the audiobook and I was like, oh, this is just Tarantino trying to tell you about fucking movies. Because it had a whole chapter where Cliff's character was breaking down why he likes obscure like samurai movies and other shit like that.
Yeah.
But then like when you get deeper into it, dude, and it's crazy to listen to an audiobook that has the same structure of a fucking Tarantino movie. Cause like, and I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's like the epitome of this, where it's a lot of like, why is this fucking happening? And then you get to the end with the hippies getting murdered. And it's like the most perfect culmination of like, you've had 2 hours and like 30 minutes of shit just happening. And now, boom, it like all comes together and makes sense. But, and the book's just like that. It's hilarious to be like sitting through 20 chapters of like, why is any of this happening? And then the last 5 chapters are like the best thing ever. Oh, I got super sidetracked on the Bruce Lee thing. The thing I was going to say is Tarantino, when he was on Rogan, please, if you're interested in his opinions on Bruce Lee, listen to it because it was so funny because Rogan was just like, kind of went a little hard on Bruce Lee in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And Tarantino was like, hey, well, actually, it's because he's a huge fucking dickhead.
Yeah, he's a phony.
And then Rogan was like, wait, really? And like, you thought Tarantino was just going to be a hater. And he's like, no. Let me break it down in detail for 45 minutes. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Right.
Bruce Lee was a dick.
And that's what I mean is like he was a dick and kind of a bully. Like that his thing was, I'll beat you up. And it's because it was definitely brought on with dealing with, what is it?
It's the best line. If anyone accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter.
Yeah. He says, my hands are registered weapons, blah, blah. And he's just like, yeah, anybody's hands. Like you kill anybody
goes to jail.
So, like his whole like reaction to that is like, I'm sure, he was a skilled martial artist and stuff like that, but if he actually ever did make a claim like that, or like he'd be like, I would wipe the mat with Cassius Clay or whatever, like, oh yeah, if you believe anything would happen besides Cassius Clay would wipe the mat with your little ass, then he's like, that's insane. Like,
that's crazy. That's the best part of that scene is like you can tell Cliff hates the guy and he's like letting it go, and then he hears that and he's just like,
did I say something funny? And he's like, yeah, you say a lot of things funny. You say be like water.
Well,
that's hilarious.
But it's also too with his like delivery of like he's just the coolest, most confident guy that can't be bothered. And he's like, well, you did.
Yeah. And well, you said the thing about the boxing guy, and then I'm like, come on, man.
You know what my other favorite line from Cliff is when Leonardo DiCaprio's character, he's doing the meeting with
don't cry in front of the Mexicans. Don't let the Mexicans see you cry.
Don't let the Mexicans see you cry. That's so funny. Tarantino has those he has those like short lines that hit. We were talking about it in Django where it's like he's like,
what's positively mean, or what? Yeah, he's like,
well, my favorite one is no one here's ever seen an N-word on a horse. Which, by the way, did you notice that was like a running gag throughout the whole movie? Yeah,
like every time you drove past somebody, they're like,
on a horse? They're on horses now?
That there boy on that horse? Even when Sam Jackson comes out, then he's just like, him in the big house. I think the same thing with.
You want me to treat them like white folk? I did not say that.
I didn't say that.
Who's
that special boy? Jimmy. Treat him like Jimmy.
I didn't say that. I got to be honest, because I know you mentioned it before, and it's apparently obvious in the movies we're talking about. But as a man who wakes up every day and goes, "All right, still shitty, everything's still ending badly," I gotta say, the fact that Tarantino can just rewrite history and go, "Hey, remember when this happened? What if it happened in a good way?"
Yeah,
I like it. Because especially too, like, you know me, I'm a deep conspiracy guy. You can actually see it right there. I got the Chaos book, which is all about the Manson murders. So I've gone deep on this subject. And when you learn about Sharon Tate and how she was like pregnant and she was unfortunately married to Roman Polanski, it's all so sad. Like, if you just let yourself really feel it, it's all so sad. So like, when you understand it on that level, and then you watch this movie and you go, "Oh yeah, what if they didn't murder that pregnant lady?" It feels nice. And like, why the fuck not? I mean, like, James Cameron can make a movie about fucking blue aliens flying around and saving the day. Why can't Quentin Tarantino just undo the Manson murders?
Yeah. I kind of feel like the adding the whole love story to like Titanic was another case of that too, where you're just like, okay, we're gonna just make up this whole thing. They're showing you can show historical things and just add a bunch of fake shit to it. So why not? It's a movie. It's fake. So like, we can take real characters and then give a little bit of pretext. We can give a little bit of backstory to some people. We can tell this story. We can do this, like the part where they're at the Playboy Mansion and then the guy who I think he's playing James Caan. I don't know who he's playing, who the actor is.
Yeah, it was playing.
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen, yeah.
I think it's Steve McQueen. And he's like, "Oh, see that girl right there?" Like, it's one of those things where you're like, this scene definitely could have been cut. But I don't think it takes away from anything. But where he's just literally like he uses like him to go like, "You see her? She was married to him or engaged to him, and then she went all the way over to Europe to make a movie with him. And then she broke off the engagement with him and married him. And then they moved back. And then he moved in with her." And he's like, and you're like, who the fuck cares? Like, at the end of it, like, I get it, but it's also like, I don't care. I don't necessarily care. But it was a cool thing that, like, I go, but I like this song that you're playing. Yeah. Quentin Tarantino, you're going to give me no matter what, even if there's a scene that I feel like, or whatever, and which is very rarely in his movies, but I know that he's telling you that for a reason. There's no fat, even though it seems very like he has long movies. He's got like his director's cuts are like super long, but like I said, I wouldn't cut anything. Like, there's nothing that I would go like, well, you could have trimmed this, you didn't add this. What about that?
Even in a scene like that, it's like, because the movie is also. He actually talked about this on the preface for the book version of this, where it's sort of like a love letter to old school Hollywood, and he's kind of giving you sort of context of the vibe and the incestuous nature of like all these people and stuff like that. So even if it's not overtly obvious to the plot, you're like, it's all about, almost similar to like Inglourious Bastards, where what's his face goes and he's like, he knows there's Jews in the basement the whole time, but like that whole long scene is just to give you context to like who the fuck he is.
Who he is, yeah, and exactly. But that's what I'm saying is the guy who's saying it is never in the movie again. He's just gone, and it's just like, okay, well, then who's the lady he was talking to? I don't know, but now we know more about them, and that's nice. So I guess if those people were, it's just kind of giving respect to the victims that did actually die in real life. And like, here's who these people were. And like, I do appreciate that.
That's a really good point too. I almost wonder as well, because I look at it differently, because like I said before, I've like read a bunch about this particular thing, and like I was watching that going like, oh yeah, those are the guys in the Chaos book. And it's like, it's almost like how people who have been watching wrestling for 40 years and they give them a little nod to some shit that happened in the 90s. You're like, oh shit, that was for me.
I forget. I didn't see this before. Dunbar got another good line of when he's on acid and the guy, he's like, I know you guys. He's like, you were at the thing and you were on a horsey.
Dude, that scene's a funny, or not even that, just like who's the guy who played Tex Watson? Austin something?
Austin Butler. I thought he was one of the I thought he was the guy that did it, but it was wrong guy, wrong pretty guy.
Same
Austin,
head though, same
Austin
face.
Butler. Yeah, same face. Same
the Skarsgård did it.
Yeah.
But no, dude, I was shocked at how many people in the Manson family have been like, oh, you're all like, a lot of you are like regular working actors now.
Yeah, there's
who's the blonde Nazi with the big fat titties?
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. She has big fat titties. That's why she's a Nazi.
That's why. Yeah, she's got good genes. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Lena Sex Crime Dunham was in it.
Lena Dunham. I was talking to Steph about this. As you know, Lena, oh man, I really wish I would have gotten 19 abortions Dunham. I do have to give her props because I remember I watched one episode of Girls and I saw a clip from Girls and in it she made Donald Glover like make out with her. And I go, honestly, that is some girl boss stuff where you're like, I'm going to write the show and what if this sexy black man was infatuated with me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's showing she can be a fucking absolute pig just like the men. So I do respect that from her. But yeah, Lena Dunham was in it. I I think Kevin Smith's kid was in it.
That's what Dom said, but I didn't see her again because I remember
she's in it for a second.
I think every actor's kid is in it because like the Ethan Hawke's kid's in it. I think the girl who is in the movie with Demi Moore, I think she's Andie MacDowell's daughter.
Yeah.
It's a lot of young Hollywood so it's like that's another thing is like the parallels that I think are being drawn in a lot of this. So I think this was an interesting thing that I thought of the whole time. Because in the movie, Leonardo DiCaprio plays a super fragile, kind of on his way out star. TV star.
TV
kind of
star.
Movies. He's apparently had some missteps in the past where, like, there's a thing with The Great Escape where he's like, "Didn't you get that?" And he's like, "Nope, didn't even audition, never even was there." And they're like, "Actually, you started filming it," and they're showing clips of him in the movie, and you're like. You're doing this, but like I'm thinking,
is that what they were? Oh, I didn't even pick up on that. That's what they were. I thought they were showing him imagining himself being in the movie.
I think he did it and he failed, and then they recast it.
See,
so like he's a very fragile dude. You know what I mean?
That's what I love about Tarantino is like he's like, no, you got to figure this out. I'm not gonna like fucking hand feed it to you.
Yeah. So he's explaining that and he's talking about that. And I'm thinking about in the scene, then he's in that part afterwards and he's like going back to his he's in the scene where he forgets his line at the bar or whatever. And I remember, and then he goes back to his trailer and he starts throwing shit around. He's like, "You fucking pussy, you fucking practice. It doesn't even look like you practice. God damn it! You had to have 8 whiskey sours. You couldn't stop at 6." You know what I'm saying? Like
that. Oh, I love that line. He goes, "You couldn't stop at 4. You had to have 8.
You had to have 8."
That would hit me when I've woken up on a Thursday when I still had a fucking warehouse job, and you're like, you needed, and I'm literally Leonardo DiCaprio going, you need to have 6 beers and an IPA, Andy. God damn it!
Like that scene, and like his like is eternal fragility throughout the whole movie. I think is like, I wonder how hard that was to navigate. Now, this is my thought, right? This is a Tarantino movie.
Sorry, what was hard to navigate? His character?
Dealing with acting out the fragility of an actor who is feeling like a failure. Because I feel like
he's just sitting there knowing there's a 25-year-old to fuck, and he's like, I'm too happy. I don't know how to act like this.
But I think it's more of the fact of like giving direction to be like, no, be more of a bitch about it. Do you know what I mean? Like because he's like, like an actor. And like but these are all actors.
like you guys, like you.
Yeah, like when you fuck up a line and you think your whole world's crumbling and nobody gives a shit. Because like that's the thing is after that scene, Dom like said, she's like, I didn't think it was that bad. She's like, he didn't really mess up that much, did he? And I was like, he just, so the point of the whole thing, that whole scene, everything is showing his insecurities and his lacking of like of ability to keep up with he's supposed to be there. They hired him on as the expert, as the guy who they're all supposed to kind of learn from. That's
right. That was
he's going in with that expectation. So he's going in there going like, I just look like some fucking amateur piece of shit. What the fuck is going on? Like all this shit of like, I'm better than this. You're fucking better. Like that kind of thing of,
yeah.
I'm sure that's like Leonardo DiCaprio has had to deal with that in the past. I'm sure that Brad Pitt has had it. Yeah. Most of these people that are all like, or all the method guys that are working with Tarantino and all this other stuff of like, how do you get a how can you get a convincing body of work or a performance out of somebody without like kind of breaking them at the same time and being like, no, this is what you're all like. You know what I mean? Because that's the other thing of like, that's the line that they had to do to go like, don't make it too personal, because it's also one of those things of like, you don't want to start building doubt in your head, but at the same time, you have to be this super fragile movie star. He's kind of playing himself if he was in the 60s. And like the fact that like he was the hot thing, he was the thing or whatever, and now they bring him in at all these other things. Like this could very well be his future of like, you may have to do TV after a while, and you may be a starring character, and him transitioning from being the main person that everybody's looking to for guidance or performance or anything like that, and then he's kind of just turning into a bit player. And he's like on his way back out. So it's like it's a crest that he's seeing, and he's noticing it as he's going, like of being like, even this kid is doing more work than I'm doing.
Well,
am I completely obsolete at this point, or am I actually supposed to be here? He didn't feel like he was supposed to be there, and like every artist has felt that.
Yeah, I don't know if it. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it, because I don't know if like it reflects Leo on it, like on his body of work, but you know for a fact he's been there mentally,
right?
Because like he's definitely been there mentally, worrying about those things. I mean, like we've seen it too, like in comedy, where you have that one friend who like crushes his set, and you're like, brother, that was crazy good, and he'll look at you like, that was the worst thing I've ever done.
Yeah, I hated that. I hated every minute of that.
And dude, Leo's character was so fascinating too, because like he was kind of a vapid petty shithead, and like Tarantino still figured out a way to make you love him, because like at the end, well, there were two moments where like you really feel for him, where he finishes that scene where he like throws the girl, and then it finishes up, and everyone's telling him it went really well, but they're like, no, like it went fucking good, and he has that.
That's what we brought you here for, and like and he's like, it justifies in that same scene. It justifies his feeling from the day before, or from the scene before, but then also it reassures him, but he's not thinking about that anymore. He has that moment. He has that moment where he's like really feeling it, and he's like, man, I did it. I did good. And in actuality, it's like, no, bro, you are good. You just got out of your way and let you be yourself. And it's kind of like it's a very interesting moment that like sort of peels back the curtain into his psyche and mindset. And then, but then later, that one's a more touching moment. But then later, after he's just gone way overboard, burning a hippie alive, like that, I hadn't thought about it until I watched it again. I go, she was gonna die. Yeah.
And he goes into his shed, pulls out a flamethrower, and lights her on fire. Did not have to do that. He could have thrown his drink at her and it would have knocked her out.
Yeah.
And then that happens, and then he just has this moment with like, I'm finally accepted by Roman Polanski and this guy who wants to fuck Roman Polanski's wife, and it's like this it's this weird moment of like, I finally have the validation I want and things will go the way I want, and you're just like, oh, you're just scum who's happy that you've now been accepted into the swamp.
Well, that's the thing, is even a happy ending in Hollywood is essentially like,
yeah,
is they're still just like, because even the thing, like, with all due respect to Sharon Tate, the real life lady, the lady that they portrayed in this one was like this. She's like, I'm excited to go see me, and she's like, I'm in this movie. She's like, it's still like, to me, like Hollywood people, I guess, or I don't even know what you would call them necessarily, stars or people like that, or for the most part, like, yeah, like whatever.
Yeah,
those Californians, I guess, or just these people that are like, their view, I feel, is so skewed. It's just so strange because it's like, I thought about this during anytime there's a protest. I'll any of the podcasts that I listen to that skew more like liberal or anything like that, or when they're like, oh, we went to the protest, all they ever talk about is they're like, oh, I saw this person, and who else, and it's like, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a fan of essentially Hollywood or stardom, stuff like that. That's how it was created. But like, it's when you put so much emphasis on it and you put all of the emphasis on it, you're even the best, the best, most happy endings are the guy who killed his wife, who wouldn't fuck an underage girl, which is why he doesn't succeed in Hollywood. And then Leonardo DiCaprio, a guy who killed a person who was dying, that did break into his house. And then
if you don't want to get burnt to a crisp, don't break into people's house with knives.
The woman that went to go watch a movie that she was starring in, like, albeit because she was excited,
had money to pay for the ticket, by the way.
Had money to pay for the ticket and decided to not. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is like, even though this is the best case scenario.
That part bothered me so much, where she was like,
I'm actually in the movie.
I'm actually in it. Do I have to pay? It's like, yeah, you got a rich fucking husband. Pay the ticket, bitch.
Do you want to watch a movie? That's how this is commerce, sweetheart. Like, you weren't at the premiere. Okay, then you haven't seen it. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. If you weren't invited to the premiere, why the fuck should I let you in for free? But that's the thing is
like, yeah, I'm obviously gonna let you in for free, but it's crazy you're not paying for this on your own.
He's definitely showing Hollywood people exactly how they are. Yeah. And he's building a whole story around that, where you're like, okay, there's some real people, some fake people based on real people, whatever the fuck it may be. But it comes down to where you're like, you know what? Like, as long as they're not like hurting anybody, I guess. But it's like, I think a part of Hollywood is you kind of have to hurt people, whether it be emotionally or physically. There's a price that everybody seems to have to pay. And it's like, that ultimately is kind of the through line through this, is like, everybody gets so worked up and so in their own thoughts, whether it be like in Jake Cahill, I think his name is, right? That's his character. Whatever. In Leonardo DiCaprio's mind, like, he's not even thinking about like evil hippies or like crime or anything like that. He is just strictly in his own head. He's all about him. He's completely just thinking about him. And somebody like Cliff is like, well, whatever. I know I can handle it. It's no big deal. Like, it's just a bunch of. I think he's somebody who's like a real, actual man who's dealing with a bunch of sensitive artists, and he's just kind of like, whatever. There's a bunch of pussies. You know what I mean? Like, but like, no matter what, they're not necessarily bad people, but they're not like good. They're not even anti-heroes. You know what I mean? Like, they're not even fully like, well, he's a vigilante, but he does all good. Like, no, they're just very self-centered people that are not evil, but they are very much vapid. They're in their own head and their own thing. And through his whole time, he's not. You hear, and that's the other thing. Throughout the movie, you're hearing of all the things that are going on in the world. You like when they turn on the radio, they talk about how many people died in Vietnam at one point. You can hear in the background another part where they're talking about social unrest and civil rights and all this other stuff. And like, and through this whole time, he's just like, I really hope I don't fuck up on that cowboy show, because that'll look like a real piece of shit. And that'll be the world. Like, that's the end of his world.
Yeah. A lot of that shit is a good way to sort of show that it's like, I don't want to say they're just like us because they're not. Like people who want to be in movies and shit, they're a type of crazy that you have to have specifically for that doesn't necessarily line up with quote unquote normal people. But I think what they're showing is like, and it's what I've talked about this a lot of times before, where like when people sort of lionize these celebrities and shit, it's like, it's because we've been tricked into just being like, well, they're on the big screen and they're really important and they make a lot of money, so they must be better than us. It's like, no. Like, they're better at acting than you are, but they're not
professional liars.
They're not a better person. Like, they've really worked very hard to hone this art form. Nothing about that makes them like a more intelligent or better person than you. They just are really the same way they can't, if you're a fucking electrician, the same way they can't wire a goddamn house it's like the same way you can't act really good.
You can't fathom the way they act, and they just can't fathom the way you live.
Yeah, they can't fathom the way that you would just be like a normal person that wasn't starved for attention at every moment of the day.
But it just shows that like he is Rick Dalton is his name. Rick Dalton is the guy he's acting accordingly to the world ending, but it's not the world, it's his world. So like he is still like, it's very stressful. He's self-medicating a ton, and he's strictly just trying to figure out how to stay not even just relevant, but just like how can he keep it going. And like at one point it was just moving and he didn't have to do anything to keep the wheels moving. It was just coming natural. And like you said, well, after one or two maybe questionable performances, maybe getting kicked off a screen, you start gaining a reputation. And I think he's fearing his reputation is outgrowing his work output.
The Rick Dalton character too is a really good showcase of like, your life has stages and you need to accept like, hey man, that one might be but the problem is it's hard to know when a stage stops and a new one begins,
right?
Because it's very akin to that great Ed Helms quote, or Andy Bernard, because Ed Helms didn't say it. It was from The Office, but he was like, I'd love to know when you're in, I forget exactly how it goes, but it's like, I'd love to know when you're in the good old days, like when it's happening. Cause it's like, it's hard when you're in especially too, when you incorporate it into your career, when you're in different stages and shit like that, cause it's hard to know when to shift into the new one. Because it's like, oh, am I ending this prematurely? Am I giving up? It's like, So he's in kind of that pocket where it's like, you need to move on and be this like, old school Hollywood guy. Be like the guy, you need to go and be the guy where when they give you the cast of characters in a show, you're and special guest Rick Dalton.
Yeah. Well, that's what he's doing. Like he's essentially doing that. He did that with the one thing where he was the bad guy, Jacob Gatuo or whatever the was. He's like, I thought it was Dakota. It's Dakuto. But he does those like that feature thing, but then he's like, he's afraid to take the other steps of like, let me go over and make these spaghetti westerns. Let me make this like go over to Italy and make films, even though he's getting the offer, or at least somebody's saying like, what about this? And he's like, I don't know. He's just worried. Like you said, he's just worried about like, if I go do that, will that keep me from anything else? But then you see at the end, he makes this nice introduction to Sharon Tate, who is married to a director who they're all still alive also. So, so he kind of it kind of insinuates that like, okay, but maybe it's not over. Maybe,
but also,
you know what I mean?
Well, but also too, it's kind of a good it kind of sheds a good light on people who overanalyze trying to like, well, I have to do A, then B, then C, and then this will happen. Because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Sharon Tate was like a big Rick Dalton fan the whole time.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, oh my God, he's there. Like, did you see him? We always joke about being next to him, and it's like, oh, really?
Exact. And it's like, but Rick has this thing of like, I've finally done stuff to deserve this. And it's like, no, this just happened when it happened.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's this the whole movie spent of Rick Dalton trying to figure out what he needs to do to keep him relevant. And it's just like, no, it was always sitting there of like Sharon Tate, liked you, and she's probably been talking you up to Roman Polanski the whole time. And it was just a matter of like, this is just when your paths cross. Now, maybe there is a thing of the fact that he burnt up the hippies and now this makes him substantially more interesting to them. But still, it is that irony of like, you know, what, you know, it's like almost like a chicken or an egg thing. It's like, did he do anything or did it just happen to happen when it happened?
I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Do it to it. You know what? This will be a good edit point. I have to piss really bad too. So everyone talk amongst themselves. Everyone, type the first letter of your favorite slur. Oh, N-O, Andy. Dude, what are you doing?
Huh?
It sounded like you fell down some stairs, dude.
I did.
Hell yeah.
No, I was just telling Dom, I was like, I got a thing from Allstate saying how much we were supposed to get, and it doesn't cover the amount that we owe. So I don't know if we get that. It's, you know, it's not for the show. Never mind. But,
well, so I'm in a better mood because Slav said I'm a WANGHAF, and I looked it up, and it's pretty accurate. I can't tell you what it means, but
okay. I'll just live in the mystery.
Yeah, you'll live in the mystery. What the hell? So where were we? I forget exactly what part we were talking.
We were just talking about like the fragility, the kind of like overall what's his fate, or her being a fan of his.
I remember what I wanted to talk about. I think another thing I wanted to talk about, throw in you know, it's funny because I was thinking about this with and I think you agree with Lemaire on this, but like Lemaire's been saying how he hates Batman. And he's like, I think one thing too, he's sad and he's a bummer and he's a pussy or whatever. You might have said that. I can't remember what it was. And I remember just being like, yeah, that's why that like these characters can become more interesting. So like in that context to this movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like Cliff is the coolest character.
Yeah.
But like Rick Dalton, I would not want to hang out with Rick. I would not want to drink with Rick.
Right.
Rick has to be, though, like the most interesting character of the movie because he's just got he's like the most flawed. He's like the most dynamic. And because every time I'm thinking of interesting shit, I'm always like, oh yeah, then Rick, because like Rick is a really good character in this movie to like showcase broader ideas and broader perspectives on things, because I think the interaction between Rick and his the 8-year-old girl, his co-star, I think they're always so fucking interesting because it highlights a couple things, you know. It like I think the girl's supposed to sort of represent the bright-eyed bushy tail actor when he first starts, where Rick was probably like that when he first started. And then it also highlights, because I've definitely felt these feelings where you have these abilities where you can make good shit and stuff like that. But then, you know, I've had my 8 whiskey sour nights where you're like, why am I just retarded and get in my way every time? You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah. And so it's kind of a thing like that where it's like Rick has, because like we see it in the last scene where not the last scene, but the last acting moment where he like busts out this amazing performance and shit like that. And it's like, you have this ability in you. Why do you let all these things get in the way and keep you from just doing this all the time? And I think the little girl character showcases it. But at the same time, the little girl character, you're like, all right, calm down.
Well, no, I would say this though. Like every method she's using is like effective. Like where she's like, "Oh, I don't like to eat before my scene because it'll make me sluggish. I memorize all my things, blah blah blah, like all this other stuff." Like, and he's just like, I think you're right. Like he's just noticing, like, not only am I not at that point now, but like if I want to keep up with the new generation of actors, I have to be like on a regiment, and I have to be really what it is discipline. is like he lacks discipline. So he doesn't have that, and he doesn't have the. It's not that he doesn't, like you said, it's not that he doesn't have the ability. He's not a failure. He's not good at it, but all acting was at that point, and all of that it is in general. And it's been pounded off in the comments. It's also something that I personally say all the time, which is basically just that, like, it's just professional lying. Like you just have to feel confident in the character that you play, sure, but it's also like you have to be just really convincing at lying.
Yeah.
So like you just have to be. So when he sees everything, like once you've been in the what's it called? I was gonna say system, but like profession.
Once you've been through the once you've been through the no, I think system works. Like because like
he's seen it. He's seen everybody's phony and what everybody says behind everybody's backs. He's seen all this stuff, and that's where all his insecurities are coming in, is the fact that he knows that people talk shit. He knows that people are like, did you see fucking blah, blah,
well,
blah,
and
blah?
Also he's a really good parallel to Leo, not in the sense that Leo's not successful. Leo's character is 1,000% more successful than Rick Dalton. But he's in a similar place, ironically, that Leo is, like when this movie gets made, where Rick Dalton's really well known, and Leo and he has to act. It's like you don't just have to act good. You have to act so good people forget about the fact that it's this dude that they're very familiar with. And Leonardo DiCaprio is in a similar situation right now, and he has been for a while, where it's like he has to act so fucking good that you forget, like, oh yeah, this is one of the most famous actors ever. It's one of the most beloved actors ever. So there's getting successful isn't just, oh, we're successful, we chill. Now that you're this successful, a whole new layer of problems has now hit your fucking head.
Yeah. You have all this other stuff. So like he couldn't handle the pressure of stardom. He enjoyed the perks of it, but he couldn't really handle the pressure or the expectations. And it was because it wasn't just about being convincing anymore. It was about actually needing to learn methods of acting and how to actually prepare and be very to execute perfectly in your art. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah, dude, it's kind of an insane layer of because I was thinking about this, where like a big reason I got into comedy and stuff, and I like podcasting, is because I liked podcasting so much. And like I've gotten, I'll for lack being less than humble, I think I'm very good at comedy. I think I'm pretty good at podcasting. I still, I talk a little retarded from time to time, but I think I'm very good at comedy and very good at podcasting. And I've been noticing just like getting better at comedy, like just listening to stand-up doesn't hit the same. Listening to podcast doesn't hit the same, because like you're much more aware. You're much more aware of what makes someone a hack, what's actually like tricks, what's actually like, I mean, dude, something as simple as being minorly informed on the world, and then you listen to shit and you're like, well, you're not, that's not the whole story. All these little things, I go, damn, I've actually, I wouldn't call myself successful, but I would call myself more talented than the average bear, and it's actually hurt my enjoyment of the thing I've loved for so long. And I go, it probably happens too, like with, like a character, like, or not even a character, but a dude like Leonardo DiCaprio. Every movie is harder than the first movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, because of all the, like you were saying, all those expectations, all the things we've built up.
Right.
Because it's like, there's so much pressure on things like that and shit. And it's like, it's this weird thing where it's like it makes you want to pick and choose what you do with your life. Because you're like, you might turn that passion into something you fucking despise, where it was just a cool little thing you did. Now you went too deep and now you fucking hate it.
I've almost gotten to the point where in comedy where like if I think of something funny or a way to think of or say something funny or whatever it is, and like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna tell that joke. Every once in a while, like if it doesn't go well, as opposed to being like, I don't try to make it work anymore. Usually, not all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like where it's like one of those things of like, oh, no, I thought the way that was pretty good. And instead of like, I understand that nobody else thinks it's funny. I'll just stop saying it.
Yeah, I just want to do this
things of like, because it's like I don't feel like the work I'm going to do to it is going to turn it into something you want it to be, not something I want it to be.
Yeah,
and like that's the thing of like I'd rather find the parallel of the things I like to say that I think are funny and the things you find funny. So like there's sometimes, and I wonder if Tarantino does this because he's still doing the feet, even though everybody makes fun of him for the feet. Every single goddamn foot, like this one, and this time it was dirty feet. He's getting he's getting specific now.
Yeah, he
like,
went
Margot Robbie,
hard.
Throw those toes up. You know, he did it. I think 2 or 3 times, different scenes where they were just like dirty feet.
Well, it is wild. Right. It is wild at this point that he's like he knows people are super aware of it,
right?
And so there's those. There was like because it was Margot Robbie, and then it was the kid in the car. And and then I think he did Margot Robbie again for some reason. I don't know why. I thought there might have been a third one, but it was just one of those things where you're like every time you see it, and he knows everybody is going to go exactly.
There it is.
There's always going to be those 2 or 3 days on set where everyone's quiet, no one's saying it to their face, but everyone's just going. Today's the feet day. Today's the feet day. They read the script. They know what scene they're shooting. They're
like, your feet are dirty, right? You made sure to walk around barefoot all day.
Well, but dude, honestly, you're joking. But Tarantino, they have to keep up the facade, so he has to pretend like no one else knows. So he has to do little sneaky things to just be like, yeah, let's just when she's in makeup and she's like, well, she would be outside shoeless. Oh, for no reason. But anyway, she is shoeless, so you'd have to
like a free-spirited hippie chick. So she'd put her bare feet on the windshield.
And then he turns to I forget the AD or something, but whoever's on set, the continuity person, he just turns. He's like, you have the script. Is she saying the N-word at all?
Yeah.
No. Could she? Would it make sense for her to say the N-word right now?
Could we get her feet saying the N-word?
Is there any way a foot can say the N-word? Can a foot say the N-word?
That's Tarantino movies in a nutshell.
Yeah,
but he definitely has
this foot's gonna say the N-word and get raped.
He's like he gives the cameraman $100. He's like, hey, make sure we miss this first take, all right?
hey, if you fuck it up, I won't tell no one.
Hey, I'm not saying that you're gonna find $10,000 in your thing, but if maybe halfway through this we figure out you never had film in your camera,
or he just goes to the editor and he's like. How about you send me a copy of the dailies today?
yeah. He's like,
make an extra copy of the dailies.
He's like, hey, real quick. He just like has his phone. He's like, hey, real quick, just go ahead. Whatever you film, just get it on here too.
Can you airdrop me just today's dailies?
Right. Is your Wi-Fi on?
You never asked for the dailies any other day, Mr. Tarantino. He's like, oh yeah. Today was just a little crazy, and I'm gonna be away from my laptop. Do it right fucking now.
Yeah. Can you just make sure? He's like, I gotta go.
I gotta go.
But no, I think overall, like
I gotta go talk like a black guy in front of Sam Jackson.
Brother, it's still that is my only note. Even the foot thing, even though I don't agree or I don't give a shit, it's just one of those things. I do whatever you're gonna do, Quinn. It's weird. Everybody knows it's weird. As long as everybody's okay and you're not like actually doing something weird, keep it up. But is that's the one thing I'll never ever be able to get over is his code switching, him doing the Jamie. Hey, my brother over there. Yeah, like my brother down there, Jamie. Like all the shit when you're just like, brother, please don't just go back to like 60s jive talk or whatever. Like whatever you work. Not even that. I don't just stop.
I think
it doesn't make sense at this point.
No, my guess is that like Samuel L. Jackson is just like, I ain't gonna tell him to stop. That's the funniest white boy I ever done met.
Yeah, I mean, really.
So I think Sam Jackson gets a kick out of it. Like, I think he finds it hilarious. I don't know about Jamie, and Jamie Foxx seems pretty locked in. I'm not saying people aren't uncomfortable around it, but I think Sam Jackson specifically, he's like, Ash is a funny ass white boy.
Yeah, that's that crazy white boy. You know what I mean? Where you're like, all right, well, okay.
He's like, you like them movies? This is not how he talks. I
was just gonna say, it's like, wait,
shit, you like how he make them movies?
Oh hell no.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Oh, also I noticed I think the scene in the beginning where what was it? It's like Rick comes home. Or they do the scene where Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski are leaving and they do that big crazy aerial shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering the whole time I'm watching it, I was like, I wonder if that's a nod to Kill Bill, because it's very similar. Remember in Kill Bill when they're in the big bar concert venue place right before the fight happens? There's like there's a huge crazy aerial shot where they're like while the song's playing, like it felt very similar where Tarantino was like, I'm gonna do that Kill Bill shit again.
Yeah, he might have just liked that shot. That could have been something like maybe he picked up from that thing or whatever. But I think overall, I love the movie. I still think he's a weirdo, but I don't know. What do you think we should go with next?
Last time I was talking. Well, so last time I was saying we should do Pulp Fiction. I feel like we're gonna crush them all, if not right now, at some point.
I feel like we owe it to the chat at least to do Jackie Brown at some point.
Yeah, we definitely,
because we'll have obviously one more day of Tarantober. But then
we should do a little bit of Taranvember.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Well, okay, since we're gonna go into Taranvember, I would like to watch. I'd like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Hell yeah!
And I also don't think I own it, so you're in luck.
Hell yeah! What? I'm in luck. Pat, I gotta be honest. I don't want to make you spend money right now. I've heard about your troubles. I don't want to make you spend money.
This one's gonna be free somewhere. I know that. That's gotta.
Yeah, I think it's free somewhere. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, but I think
Tarantinovember Dumbo. See, that one looks good. That one looks good written, but it's hard to. And also, it's too much of each word.
Yeah, if we could get Noventino.
Wait, so it's okay.
Okay, are you ChatGPTing it?
I'm looking at ChatGPT. Do this. All right, so we got Tarantino,
right?
Or so we do
November. Yeah,
we could do Quint Venber or Taran Venber.
I don't know. I think Dunbar might be right. I think Taran November.
Tarantino November.
Tarantember.
It's a lot of each word. Novtino. I mean, by the way, I always like to pick the stupidest one, and Novtino is the stupidest one.
Yeah, I think I like that one. Yeah, Tarantober was pretty fucking stupid. So,
all right, Tarantober's about the end. Get ready. God damn it, go away. Novtino? Everyone, get ready for Novtino.
We're gonna go into Novtino.
Novtino.
That's the classic one. That's where we go into all the epics in the back in the day. You know,
all the classics. All right, next week. Pulp Fiction
in a couple days. You're right.
The episodes happen when they happen.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Sorry, anyway. My life's crumbling, and I couldn't have the podcast. No, literally, nobody said anything. It's all right.
Yeah, everyone's that hurts more.
Yeah, that actually is worse. Makes all this that's happening on the screen on the side here makes it feel like nothing. I don't even know, where are you guys? Why aren't you guys shouting from the rooftops where we are?
I'm gonna get a physical copy of the chat.
Although we did specifically talk about the last episode of going like, I don't know when we'll be able to record again. All right, we'll do it sometime. Goodbye. We did kind of give a preface.
That's how we do it, brother.
You know.
All right, boys. See you next time. Be about it. Peace.
Bye.